Howdy. Welcome to round number 2 on a wet Wednesday. Well, it ain't wet now. The sun's shining and it's warming up fast. I may have to peel off about half my clothes. I still got my waders on because I didn't feel like taking them back off. I'm going to run down to Somerville and catch me some fish. Y'all hang on. Stay with me. Too bad of a walk. I sure as hell don't want to drive it. Not in a two-wheel drive vehicle. Even though I can see there's been a lot of people down here. Oh yeah, it's high. Doesn't look too bad. Not too bad at all. Used to be able to drive down on that side, but it's a mess now. Go up there and turn around and come back down. Ooh, it's wet down there. Well, if I had four-wheel drive, I'd do it, but I don't, so I won't. Two-wheel drive trucks, they just aren't worth a damn for getting out of mud. Alright. Haven't been up in here in a long time. Holy smokes, man. I stepped out of that truck and it feels like a sauna. It is really warm. I'll be sweating my tail walking down that, pulling my yak. 3 o'clock. Got all my gear packed up. I'm gonna run down that road. Actually, I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna drag my yak and start fishing. This wheels look good. No way I'm driving down here. Thought I was going to have some challenges launching, but I think this right here is a perfectly good launch right here. Look at that. Looks like somebody else has done it before. Perfectly good launch spot right here. That was not too hard. Slippery. Careful. Alright, let me pull these wheels off. Look, here's some dewberries blooming. When they bloom, you're 1 month away from dewberries. Ooh, and the bees are working them. Honeybees are working them. That's a good sign. Spring is almost here. Hey, caked up real good. There you have it. Let's see what time it is. 3:09. Took me about 15 minutes to get down here and in the water. Remember that, in case the guys ask me. I could start fishing here, but I think it will be better way upstream, and I'm curious anyway. So I'm just going to paddle straight on up to the rock ridge. The gar are already spawning. I just saw a whole group of them go by. One big one and a bunch of little ones. That's the big female and a bunch of little males. I think I see some wood ducks. See something moving along that side. Well, that's not a wood duck. What the heck is that? I guess it could be a water turkey. water turkey, but never heard one call before. That water turkey let me get real close to him, and then probably 20 feet, and then he turned around and went behind me, finally. And so I don't need him announcing my presence all the way up the creek. I knew he'd do that. Probably should be using my other camera holder. One thing I like about Jardel Creek is it clears up so fast. This is actually pretty clear. You can see a good distance in the water. And that's good, crucial. See where it gets shallow now. Deep along one side. Oh, there goes some wood ducks. A couple of wood ducks. Seen a lot of gar up in here. They're spawning this time of year. You'll see them, they'll just be swimming in a group. One big female to several males. I guess they're free spawners too. There's a fish right over here. Maybe with this polarized lens you'll be able to see the fish that I see. I got polarized sunglasses on. This is the first good hole right up here. Got pictures of my nephew standing right on this bank, pulling a hybrid right out of this hole. 2009. Boy, that was a hell of a year. I'll fish every bit of this on the way back. Oh, look, there's a redbud. That's how you know the fish are spawning. When you see those blooming, fish are spawning. You know, it's almost regardless to the weather and the water and everything else. It's about the amount of daylight, because these things will bloom. If you look for the third full moon of the year, that's when the peak of the white bass spawn is, and then it's typically over by the fourth full moon. They'll all be out of here. But the black bass, they spawn about now through May. That's what this creek is good for, black bass. And being high like this, the lake is 3 feet high at the moment. And being high like this puts a lot of water back up here, and a lot of fish will come up in here. I can just hear the honeybees. They're really active. Probably a hive around here somewhere. When the lake is at normal level, this has only got a small amount of water in it. It's usually running. If there's any water coming down the creek, it'll be running, but you got to get out and drag from here or walk from here. There's another redbud. And I can just hear the bees. Sun's going back behind the clouds again. It starts raining on me. That would be par for the course. Look at that redbud tree. This is another nice little cut in the bank. It's got a hard bank too, and I can see where there's fish moving around in here already. I'm going to fish all this on the way back. That redbud tree reflecting in the water. So peaceful. This little S-bend in the creek right here. Boy, I'll tell you what, in 2009 it was a blast. This is where we found the most hybrids. Right off that point, there's a deep hole. Man, they were stacked up in there. The ducks. Turtle came off that bank right there. This is a deep hole right here. Usually has a lot of fish in it. We'll find out on the way back. Now you can see it's getting a lot shallower. And that is a rock. Oh, look, fish. Holy smoke, what was that? It was a bottom hugger, whatever it was. Didn't get a good look at it, but it was a fish. I may have to get out and drag, I don't know. Over a gar. Oh, I just ran over a gar. There's another one. I'm seeing all kinds of little fishes in here. Paddling a yak is hard to do one-handed. I've been up in here where the water was about like this, and I could see the white bass moving. Oh, they'll hang underneath that stuff there. Oh, there is something under there. I just saw a fish. There's the headwaters right up here. Right where the buzzards are. They got something on the bank over there. I think I've got some gar right up here. Something right up here in front of me. I'm catching up to it. Yeah, it's a gar. Should be a couple of them. Yeah, it is. See how they chase each other? Boom, off they go. Wonder what those buzzards are doing. A face only a mother could love. Here's the final assault. The headwaters just around that corner. There's one big pool before a rock ledge. And that's where I intend to fish. Oh, there goes another gar. Gar up in here. I'm seeing a lot of little fish. Those buzzards were eating on a bass back there. Black bass, small one, about a foot. Would have rather have caught it than for them to eat it because it's dead, but you know how it goes. Nature doesn't waste anything. Goes a great blue heron. Oh, this is getting nice and deep. Deep enough. Guarantee if you can't see the bottom, that's deep enough. Otherwise those fish are real spooky. But they'll hang under ledges like that in that dark area. I didn't bring but a 4-weight. I figured I didn't need my big rod. But two spinning rigs and one little fly rod. I know this creek quite well, and this deep seam I'm right in the middle of is, if there's any fish in here, this is where they'll be. Oh, I hear the water running. I can hear the rapids. And once again, this area has changed. The deepest part's here. There's an old dead fish carcass, or bird. Ooh, there's a big group of fish right there. Some gar right here. Ooh, you see that? Look at those gar. Right up next to him. Dun-dun-dun, chasing the big female. Oh man, this has changed tremendously. There's no deep hole here anymore. It filled in. Wow. I got pictures of this throughout the years. This is the shallowest I've seen it. There goes fish. Wow. I beached it right here. Let's go look at the rapids. This is my peace place. This is the peaceful place. Wow. There was a time that was 6, 7, 8 feet deep, and it was all one big hole. All that dirt's come down here, that sand. So the hole's down there. There's also one up on top of these rocks. This is a neat feature about Lake Somerville. This rock ridge, this outcropping, runs all along the south shore. Oh, look, there's a snake. That looks like it might be a water moccasin. Look at him, he's just sunning himself. Now, come on, focus on the right thing. The damn camera won't focus on the right spot. That has the right coloration to be a water moccasin. Not the right shape though, he's too narrow. I missed one, there was two of them in here. Alright, let me see if I can't get a good close-up. Oh, I don't know. Might have been a water moccasin. I should have been watching the water. There'd be white bass in here in these rapids. Isn't that pretty? Nicest place on Somerville. That actually represents a barrier. Almost all the time, that's a barrier to the fish coming up any further. I'm sure under real high water conditions they can get up here, but under real high water conditions this would be rolling. Isn't that neat how that sycamore tree spreads out over top of those rocks? It's a big one. I've watched those three sycamore trees right there grow. They were not even here when I first started coming up here. Beautiful sycamores. Well, let's go look at the pool up here. Well, here's the upper pool. The two creeks come together here. One from the, I guess it comes in from the south, and the other one comes in from the east. Look at that redbud tree. Some little frogs. I've caught fish out of here many times. Sure does change through the years. Well, I'm going to fish it a little bit. I got a couple of jigs I'm going to throw at them. I got my waders on. Let me start fishing right here. There's some deer up there. They just spooked. Oh, look at those redbuds. That's the first color of spring, besides white. Cool. A lot of deer around here. No takers in the top hole. Didn't even get a bump. Of course, I haven't seen anything either. I don't know what that means. May just be the wrong time of the day. Probably is. I'll go back and get in the yak and very carefully probe the deeper holes on down. Actually, I'll probably fish a little bit just downstream from the waterfall before I get back in the yak. See clear of the bottom. And you can clearly see there is no fish in here. Oh, there goes a little bass. Little tiny bass. I'm hoping that something's going to be holding along that wall where that deep dark seam is. We're going to throw a few in there just to find out. I can see some little perch swimming. There's a couple of perch and a couple bass right there. Let's see what these fish might want here. See some bass. See those little fishies? I can't hardly see them in the viewfinder, but trust me, there's a bunch of little bass right here. There's my first taker. Little bass. Took the jig. There's enough little bass in here, and I saw a bunch of them right over there. There's enough little bass that since I got my fly rod, I might as well put it to use, right? Got these special flies I tied up. Look a little bit like a minnow, woolly booger, whatever. I bet they work. Right over here. Switch to a tiny rooster tail and kapow! There's another bass. Yeah, it wasn't very productive, but it's always an adventure to come up here. Let's go see what's in the deeper holes. Probably go to vertically jig fishing in the deepest holes. Gar and shad. See the shad? Tons of them. All kinds of fish up here. All the little animals have got something on their mind. Making more little animals. Goes a little bass. See? All kinds of little fish in here. Got some gar right up in front of me. Probably gar. See all the little fishies? Tons of them. Little fish, big fish, medium fish. Lots of little bass. Look at all those little fish. Certain kind of minnows, I guess. Here comes the first deep hole. Well, there's a new feature. That's an eagle's nest. I just heard him. He flew out of there. That thing is huge. An eagle's nest right on the creek. There he is, flying right over here. I can see him through the trees. Hope he came back. Well, here's what everybody is after up here. Nice big fat white bass on a spinnerbait out of this deep hole. I can probably sit here and use this spinnerbait and catch a bunch of these, which I might just try to do. And hung a buffalo, a big one, right in the eye. Oh my God. Ouch. Oh, these things are such a waste of time. Oh, well, I think I just lost my whole rig. Bad knot. Standing here looking at that nest. And that's this chick right there. Been sitting there the whole time, staying statue still. I thought that's what that was.
There. Be as easy getting out as it was getting in. Swallows over here. Bunches of them. Well, sun's going down and I'm headed back. It's not too bad, really. It's not that long a walk, not that long a paddle. The birds are getting together and heading back north. Get that winter grass in there. Green as can be. A lot of dead trees, but plenty of green grass and swamp. That's a nice sight to see. The truck.
What a way to spend a Wednesday. Thanks for watching. Y'all be good. Bye.